on my Facebook.
Okay. I'll check that area out.
Ghost, you're getting an echo, man.
I know I'm on my cell phone right now. Sorry, guys. I'll get my mic flat.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
How's it going, Ronan?
Oh, pretty good. Snowing like a bastard down here.
I know there's a bit of confusion on the time. Glad you were able to make it.
Ronan, buddy, what's up, fella?
How are you doing today?
Not bad, yourself?
Down here at work down in Elkford, but
Nice. What are you doing?
Yeah, we're down at the tech mine down here.
Oh, nice. You heavy duty mechanic, or you operate, or what?
No, HSSE.
Oh, nice. Safety guy. The guy I always run from on site.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm not wearing my fucking safety glasses. I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm working for Synovus right now. It's fucking painful.
Yeah, I've heard that. We're up in Fort Mac.
No, Slave Lake.
Might as well be Fort Mac.
Yeah. Slave Lake, they got all their capital right now from Synovus is being punched into around Slave Lake, Martin Hills area.
What are they doing there?
Light conventional. So drilling multi-well pads with rotating pump jacks, and then just sucking out as much as they possibly can. We started
using screw pump jacks, eh?
Yeah, from Kudu, and then we did a 4-well pad. Started it up on the 22nd.
Yeah.
And there's 4 sales tanks and 2 production tanks, and they're starting to suck sales out of the 4th tank because all 3 tanks are full already, and it's only been running a week.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's a fucking kicker.
Well, hopefully we get some pipelines built so we can get that oil out of here.
Yeah, eventually, one day.
Yeah.
Since the Coastal Gas Link got shut down up there because of the protesters.
What protesters? What?
The Coastal Gas Link and the LNG line that goes from Dawson Creek, Fort St. John over to Kitimat. Yeah. They suspended construction today because the protesters blocked off a road, and they said they're done fighting with protesters until the fucking government stops them. They're not doing any more construction.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, another one.
The government's, they're paying for them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
Did you see the UN is saying basically that pipelines are racist?
Oh yeah, the UN's fucked, man.
Yep. I'm not joking. They're basically saying that these pipelines and the way people are going about things is racist.
How the fuck is that racist?
I don't know. I guess pipelines are black.
And
we bury them in the ground. So I guess we don't like blacks.
And we can't make them gender neutral?
I think we could. We could paint it rainbow color.
Do all 7 colors.
Yeah. Don't worry, you guys are all covered.
Yeah, but it's buried in the ground.
Yeah.
As long as the snowflakes know it's rainbow colored, we're good.
Yeah. No, they're doing that big rangeland pipeline that Slave Lake got 80 kilometers of 12-inch and then 80 kilometers of 4-inch. So they're working on it right by my sites right now.
Oh, yeah. That's the Trans Mountain side?
No, it's our side. It takes oil from Slave Lake, kind of Wabasca area, down to by Jarvie to a Plains station or a Pembina station. I think it's Plains. And then from Plains there, goes down into fucking Scotford area in Fort Saskatchewan, and then refine and upgrade it, and then supposed to get rid of the shit, but that's just going in a holding tank somewhere until a pipeline's built.
Oh, you know it. Yeah.
Suncor has built, 40 new tanks in the refinery fucking field by Sherwood Park in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Just to hold product until they can get a pipeline.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fucking ridiculous.
No doubt. Well, just hang on, man, because U.S. is going to war with Iran. I can see it.
Oh yeah, no, and I hope it does because then oil will go up to 115 plus a barrel, and then we'll all be fucking back to work.
You betcha.
I know it sucks to say, man, and I don't want to see people dying, but we need it.
Well, I've been to Iran. I'm not going to be heartfelt about that.
Yeah. Well, it's like fucking. I was watching that video of the Rebel where they're like in Calgary doing a rally and they're flying a Hezbollah flag right beside the Canadian flag, and I can understand Arabic. I can't speak lots of it, but I can understand it. And they were just hating on the States and hating on Western culture and hating on everybody and saying Canada isn't doing enough and shit and we should be defending Iran. And I was just like, what? Like, when did we start having terrorist rallies in our own fucking soil?
Was this in Toronto?
No, there was one in Toronto. This one was in Calgary.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one in
fucking Calgary.
recently. Yeah,
Yeah, there was one in Calgary.
What the
There's
hell's
one in
going
Edmonton.
on here?
Edmonton, Calgary. There was a small one in Winnipeg, but it was only like I guess like 6 or 7 people, and then Toronto was massive.
What coalition was it? Well, who's protesting?
Well, they had a Hezbollah flag, so I'm imagining fucking supporters of
Nasrallah
Hezbollah.
followers.
Yeah.
It was who?
Nasrallah, that's a leader of Hezbollah. And I wonder if George Soros is behind some of these smaller ones.
No, I have no doubt about that. But if they're supporting a terrorist network, what the hell what's going on? How come they're not being arrested?
Well, that's what I was thinking to myself too. I'm like, if I went to Iran and flew a United States flag,
Yeah.
You'd be shot.
oh, dude, I'd be done. Like they wouldn't. They'd either put me in jail and let me rot, or they would shoot me in the head and behead me. But we have like 60, 70 people fucking chanting death to the States and that Canada's a pussy country and like they're all like, oh, Allah, 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 and it's like, you know what? Fuck you guys, leave our country. I'm sorry, I'm not racist, but I fucking hate the Muslim religion. I hate Islam, and I think it's just toxic and it needs to fucking go. Our country's better off without Islam.
No,
People don't realize that Islam is not only just a religion, but it's a state. In a sense, it's an ideology.
Yeah.
It is. And anybody says, oh, they're the good Muslims, they're wrong. They all drink from the poisonous well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way.
They all read the Quran, and anybody that's read the Quran knows.
Oh,
Yeah.
I read the Quran. I was a devout Muslim for 6 years just to see what it was about when I was studying religions. The only religion I didn't practice and research into is Jewish religion and read the Torah. But I read the Quran like fucking 30 times. And I went to fucking Arabic school to learn how to listen and like understand Arabic and speak a bit. And after 6 years, man, I didn't see anything good. Like I didn't see not one positive thing.
Yeah, Islam was called an unedifying belief already in the 1100s by previous Catholic popes, but I don't know what the hell has happened to the Catholic Church in recent times. It's just a freaking mess.
Oh,
all
they're banned.
religion is.
Well, the Christian or the Catholics are banding with Islam now.
What?
Like the Pope even said there was a fucking write up where he said that all the religions must band together and fight a common good, and that included fucking Islam. And I was like, what? Like,
I saw
you
him
guys,
watching the feet of actual Islamics. So is that him showing himself to be a good dhimmi?
like, what happened to the fucking Crusades? Like, I thought that was their whole fucking go-to thing was to purge the world of Islam, and now they're like buddies and like having sex with each other in the back room.
Well, it's like the old adage, man. If you can't beat them, join them.
No, the Crusades. I mean, it's a logistical thing. They went as far as they could, kicked the ass as hard as they could. But just like everything else, if you don't have a supply line, you can only go so far. So they had to.
Well, not just supply line. They didn't have the numbers either. The Muslims
Yeah.
greatly outnumbered the Crusaders.
You know, today's world is different. I mean, like I was saying before, I dealt with Muslim people during the Kosovo refugee thing in 1999 when we brought Kosovo refugees over to Canada.
Yeah.
And most of those people were Muslim, but they were not hardliners at all. They didn't look any different than you and me. They only knew a certain portion of their religion. Once you started talking to these people, they didn't even know the whole Quran or anything else. They knew.
Muslim Serbs are a different animal altogether.
Yeah, yeah. And ISIS and all Al Qaeda was having a tough time recruiting in that part of the world until things changed around 2007. But no, again, yes, we probably all personally know a Muslim that is a great person and we like them, but we can't trust them, and
No.
that's
That's the problem. You can't trust them fully. You always
so
have to take things with salt with them.
yeah,
Well, and
yeah.
and that's the thing. Like, I never go out there and meet somebody who is Arabic or, Shiite, Sunni, anything, or
Mhm.
from the Middle East, and I'm like, yeah, fucking leave. I give them the respect. I talk to them like a fucking Canadian. I treat them with the respect and dignity that I want to be treated with. But that's the thing. I'm always in the back of my head wondering what the fuck they got planned in the back book.
Well,
Like,
they're not. I
Yeah.
can guarantee you, man. They'll talk nice to you, but they're not thinking that.
no, I know.
No.
They're doing their best to end that conversation and go down the road. They'll be pleasant. They'll talk to you, but as soon as that conversation ends, they've already forgotten you, man. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Whenever I see those big niqabs where you have people in the beekeeper suits, I sometimes just go by past them and say, "How's the jihad going?" And I get the weird faces and freaked out faces.
Hmm.
Have any of you guys been paying attention to the Plaid Army?
Yep.
The what army?
Plaid Army.
Yes.
What the hell's a Plaid Army?
It's a
A
huge.
whole bunch of YouTube streamers that have all banded together and started wearing plaid shirts and kind of sticking together and all have pretty well the same views we have. Like
Yeah,
Critical Thinker.
Banding together in
I
the
watched the
face of
live
what YouTube's Wojcicki's doing to them on cracking down on conservative views.
Yeah.
Who's doing that?
Steve LTT from our server, Critical Thinker from our server, a couple other YouTubers.
They're cracking down on conservative thinkers.
No.
No.
Facebook is.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
And YouTube as well. YouTube got a new mandate to stop political interference at any level. So you can't even unless you get a YouTube page registered as a political YouTube page, they're starting to censor and demonetize every page.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Okay, so this Plaid Army, what's their story? Where are they from?
all over. A couple guys from Alberta, one guy from Manitoba. I think there's a couple guys from Saskatchewan, and they're all doing group streams now, and pretty well all have the same views we have.
It's funny though. Actually, it goes there. Most of those guys are from out east.
Are
Yeah.
they?
Yes,
Yeah. Nova
they're
Scotia,
from out east.
Ontario.
Yeah,
Huh.
Is that a fact?
they're
That's
Easterners, but we need friends in the east. So
Well,
it's fun.
Critical Thinker joined them, and Steve's joining them now. So
yeah. I'm not doing any of that bandwagon shit. I'm sticking with one forum right now, and just
yeah,
kind of get our head wrapped around what we need to do right now. And I still think we've got a long road ahead of us.
oh yeah, we have a savagely long road ahead of us, and this war that's coming up with Iraq is going to be either a big detriment to our fucking path, or it's going to be an eye opener, and we're going to start dealing with a lot more shit. Because
Well,
people,
I think it's going to be good economically in one way, and another way, it's going to be bad because there's going to be refugees from that war, and guess where they're coming?
yeah. Well, hopefully the economy goes up so everybody can start building fucking shelters.
Yeah, no shit, eh? Well, you don't need to worry about them. They don't have anything that's capable of reaching our shores anyway.
No, they'll just make
At least the
fucking.
West, anyway.
They'll just make fucking pressure cooker bombs and steal fucking U-Haul vans and start running people over.
It'll be
you
guerrilla
mean
warfare.
domesticated? Oh, okay. Yeah, domestic terrorists.
All right. So I guess we're kind of talking about foreign policy already. So why don't we just dive into that? That's kind of what I said in the chat there. I was just like, hey, maybe we'll just finish off with the opening segment and dive right in. So Ghost, go for it.
Well, I want to get speaking with everybody on what's going on in Iran and with the states, and kind of get everybody's view on what's going on. See what people are thinking, and kind of seeing what they want done, what they want done here at home. Like I'm honestly, I'm scared and excited. Like I just said, like work's gonna come for people again. People aren't gonna be fucking having to miss their bills when oil's at $100 and some fucking dollars a barrel and shit like that. But there's like Ronan said, there's gonna be tons of immigrants moving in it now again. We're gonna continue to lose our culture because of all the immigrants that are coming in. And I don't get me wrong, I have immigrant friends. My roommate was straight from Jamaica, but he immigrated here to be part of Canada. He didn't immigrate here to be little frickin' Iran or like build a mosque and take a whole section of a city over and just claim it as their own and try to change everybody around them. Like it's getting scary. And personally, I think Trump did a really, really smart move, striking the fear of God in them, because they have been planning a whole bunch of crazy shit.
Well, you see, to
A large
Muslims,
portion of the Iranian population is still the secular population from the 1960s and 70s, and
Yeah.
they're stirring up shit for the the mullahs.
Yeah.
So
actually,
it might not take much to topple the mullahs if things get hard for people.
when I was in Iran, due to the Iraq War in the '80s, most of the senior people in Iraq were killed. So the age span you get now is from 0 to mid 30s, early 40s now.
That's
Oh,
what
A
really?
I
lot of
heard.
them are still students.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
there's the odd person in the 40s and 50s, but that's very, very rare.
Yeah, and they're not very much into the political side of it anymore. They just want to go quietly and live, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Whatever happened to the?
as far as the students, they want to see a lot of reform happen there. They want another revolution. If you talk to any student in Iran, which I have, and they want change. They don't want this shit anymore. But when the Ayatollah was still in there before the first revolution, they said things were really good. Like they had a lot more freedom after that revolution. They had a lot more freedom for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But then it
So
changed
Yeah,
somewhere down the middle road.
yeah, so
the
they want to see that again, and right now the way foreign policy is with them, they're not going to see any kind of change until they topple that regime.
Yeah.
I guess the mullahs got in the same way that the NDP got into Alberta.
Yeah, exactly.
Just scare
And they
tactic.
Protest
never left.
Well,
Well,
that's part of it too. They use a lot of scare tactics. They use the military against their own people quite a bit.
yeah.
And this crap with that's going on right now, especially firing missiles over a sovereign border at a sovereign nation and hitting another sovereign nation.
Yeah.
I mean, damn.
Yeah, like
There's going to be some fallout from this.
oh yeah. And like the one person said in the news, like if one United States soldier would have died in those missile attacks, holy fuck, Trump would have rained hell down. He would have
Oh
had the
yeah.
whole military fly there and just fucking start owning shit. And
I don't think he would have tolerated it. Just as if a Russian troop was hit up by ISIS, they would have gone full blown
oh yeah.
Buratino on them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
they've got quite a few carriers in the Gulf right now.
They
yeah.
they
By the way,
already
what is
have all the
Russia's position in this?
Russia,
I think
they're pretty much staying pretty neutral. They're with Iran. When it comes to Iran, Putin knows that how volatile their leadership is right now. So
yeah.
he's keeping an eye on them, but he's keeping his distance.
Yeah.
I'd be more
He's
worried
made it.
about China because China gets a higher percentage of its oil from Iran than Russia does.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Well, and Trump should be smart and just seriously, instead of striking people and military, start bombing their refineries and letting them fucking go crazy. When you have like 6 or 7 fucking refineries on fire, that country's gonna have so much hands
Problems.
tied dealing with their fucking infrastructure on fire. They're not even gonna fucking have the time to think about fucking planning attacks.
Yeah,
Well, that's
I
that.
think that's exactly what the target. They already chose the targets. They already have a big list of them, and
Okay,
he's
well
just
that,
going to go through and take their industry out and their infrastructure out. And
okay, well that's escalating beyond what we're talking about here because that in itself is an act of war, and they will go to war if that happens if they're going to take out strategic targets like that.
Yeah.
If it's just going to be one side and Trump just decides to drop a couple of hellfires into an oil battery, you know.
no, Iran will do something stupid first.
Oh
That
yeah,
they
it'll have to be provoked to the point where Trump is going to fucking come unhinged, and he'll start a ground assault, guaranteed. Well, he'll start an air assault just to pave the way for the ground assault, and then there'll be American troops in Iran, guaranteed.
I don't think so. I don't think he will.
Okay, now look, this story that surfaced here about an hour ago, the Global News and the Washington Post put out about a U.S. F-18 being shot down. I haven't been able to confirm that. I've got a buddy of mine uh, doing some searching. He's got friends over there. We haven't been able to confirm that that actually happened. It was a big surprise to me that American fighters were sent in, and so I don't think that actually happened. I think there's a lot of propaganda. I think there's a lot of.
Hmm.
I think somebody is trying to stir the pot, and
Well,
I think we have
what?
to be really careful about this.
Oh,
MIC
absolutely, for sure.
introduced itself
But
there.
that being said, what given the tensions that are going on right now, I guarantee the Americans have set up a no-fly zone around their carriers, so
Yeah.
they have aircraft in the air right now.
Hey, Billy.
Well, yeah. Well, and Canada's like sending troops from frickin' Iraq into Kuwait.
Yeah,
Like
and they're all
they're doing.
seesaw guys.
Yeah. Like, does anybody have any connections with any of those battalions over there to figure out what the fuck they're doing?
Oh, I
Who
do,
If they're
but
going.
I won't be able to get any intel.
Yeah.
Are you talking about art people over there?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what is? Why is our Canadian forces even getting involved?
Okay, they're
We're not involved. We were there on a training mission for the Kurds,
yeah.
Yeah.
and they were just there for observation and operational support. That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a one CSOR team and one JTF team over there.
Correct.
CSOR is training the Kurds, and JTF-2 is training a Iraqi police and an Iraqi special forces team
Yep.
for counterterrorism. And the only time, the one time that, or two times, the two times that we know of that our people have actually been in a fight, they were attacked, so they fought back. We lost one Van Du JTF member a couple of years ago or so. I can't remember the exact date. And then a year and a half ago or whatever it was, one of our snipers engaged at a very, very long distance. But again, that all of that was. Um, we have regular flights from Aviano in Italy for logistics and supply, and most of that is done with light aircraft. Some of it was C-17. So the report today that a Canadian C-17 was being used to transport American troops, etc., out of the country. Again, I haven't been able to confirm it, but I believe that to be true, except for the fact that if they were moving American troops, it would not have been combat troops. It would only have been support staff, diplomats, civilian contractors, like that. We have
Okay.
a very, very strict set of rules we have to follow,
Right.
and even the Iraqi government would not allow us to
Intervene.
intervene or do anything with any kind of combat force from any country except for our own people. And again,
Yeah.
so I believe that that it's probably true that a C-17 did move people today, uh, but with only 500 people. That's our total contingent in Iraq. The entire training mission,
Correct.
including support staff, is 500 people. So
Yep.
we would not have a C-17 on station. We would have a Herc, and we would have a couple of helicopters. So that would have come out of Aviano, Italy. So diplomatically, we're not in the hot seat yet that I can
Okay.
see.
Okay.
No, and because we're not, our mandate is clear, and it's not an engagement role. They, if it comes down to it, and which it seems like it is, it may be that they're starting to escalate and start to ramp up movement of our troops out of there too.
I would think
Well,
so.
honestly, I'm hoping that they take our troops out, let the states and Iran do what they want to do, and let our economy boost because they need our oil. And shale oil in the states right now is plummeting.
Good.
All these killer fucking wells that they've been banking on are starting to die off because there's no well management. They're just fracking, and letting her pump until she dies. So the states
Well,
are going to be in another crunch soon.
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Their boom's coming to a bust.
Yeah.
that's why I posted the photograph of the tanker routes. If you can zoom in on that, I did it on Google Earth. The problem with the Saudi oil is it all comes out of the Strait of Hormuz. The two ports that Saudi Arabia has on the west side of their country, going up into the other straits there and down towards Somalia, that is all. They're not set up to move oil through there. So if this heats up and that shipping route gets cut off, which, by the way, if there's a war, that will be cut off. Irving Oil will not be getting Saudi tankers. They won't be able to fill up Saudi tankers and bring them around the Horn of Africa. That's going to change things dramatically. And I heard one estimate today that, again, yeah, somebody had mentioned earlier that this is a move on money, not on anything else, and I believe it because there's a rumor that oil could go up to $250 a barrel before summer.
Well, I'll mention that
no.
Joanne already said that oil and gold just took off.
Yeah.
Go check it.
Yeah.
What do you mean by took off? What does that mean economically?
Well, go check the price of oil, my friend.
Right
Yeah,
now.
on the world market, it's
Right now.
on the London Stock Exchange, Toronto Stock Exchange, and the New York Stock Exchange. I think it's gone up 13% just today.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's
as far as
Okay,
the
West
foreign,
Texas is currently at 63.52 a barrel.
yeah,
Holy shit! It went up 1.31%.
How do you think it'll go? Think it'll break 100?
Well, yeah, because if it just shot up that high today, like I said a couple days ago, it was 56.
Is this all in reaction to the Iran news?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
A lot of this is big speculation stuff going on here.
Yeah, but
the
we're in a
markets
bearish market
are
right now, and
speculative,
to
my
see that
friend.
happen,
sorry, go ahead and ran Ronan. I missed that.
I said we're in a bearish market right now, and for that kind of a jump to happen like that, it seems pretty indicative of what's happening here.
Yeah, I believe so too. As far as the foreign affairs concerned, with let's say that we do get this through within a year and we do become the country of Alberta, we'll be right in the middle of all this. And also, too, somebody mentioned, I think it was Ghost talked about this before, maybe it was a question for the group, but asked about, this could be a good thing or a bad thing and where we could go. But, funny as it seems, with the right leadership, and I don't mean Peter Downing, I mean the actual right leadership that could bring in some kind of a reaction province wide, we could theoretically this time next year be the new country of Alberta and have to be dealing with this stuff. And for us to sit down now and come up with an idea that we can put points together and presentation for whoever the new government puts, I think that's a stepping stone for us. Don't you think so, Ghost?
I think we need to have our constitution is set in stone, and we need to have that clear language conversation started.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The only thing I see is there's no legal possible way from Alberta to separate within a year's time. There's no way. the legalities of separation in that short a time would mean that every single duck would have to fall into place, and every fucking good luck from God would have to come down and rain upon us, because the process
Hey,
to
you
get
know what? People have
Canada
won
in
the
the Senate.
lottery.
Yeah, true enough.
Yeah, but what I mean, again, we got to go on a what if here. And if we're going to do a contingency plan for foreign affairs, just like we're talking about with the, with the military and different things like that, I think if we're going to have a contingency plan, we should start like tonight and actually come up with one. Like Ronan said, have bullet point things to put in a constitution so that this is covered.
Exactly. We have to have a clear plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we don't, we're not going to be looked at seriously. We're not going to be taken seriously. And moreover, we're not going to be able to establish the support from our own people. If we
Yeah.
don't have a clear line of sight of what we're doing here, we're fucked.
Yeah, I don't think it's a case of if it's going to happen or if it's not going to happen. I think it's let's be prepared either way. Let's
Yeah.
Yeah,
let
we need to be prepared. So if it so happens comes to us being able to get this happening like immediately, we need to have it set in stone. We need to have something written down going forward.
I
Well,
completely
and
agree. I think
Canada might be so weakened from things happening that they just might say, okay, fine, whatever, just go. And we might get our independence just like Canada got its independence from Britain. There was a vote on dog licenses that was more important than Canada separating, and so nobody showed up for the separation vote, and we got out.
That would require us in getting involved in the war, though.
Exactly, because you have to bear in mind that the war is not on our soil at this point in time, and back then it was.
Yeah.
Oh, but see, here's the thing. We have all these new Iranian slash Canadian residents, and they're already out there in the streets protesting. So very
Okay.
quickly they could turn up.
Okay, can I pass on something I've found out here in the last couple of days? And I kind of knew it before, but I got confirmation on it. So this General Salamoni or Lomi or whatever the hell his name was that got killed, he had a 50-50 approval rating in Iraq. He was very popular because he did great things for the country during
During
the
ISIS.
1979 revolution and the war against Iraq with Saddam Hussein in the 80s. So he was very popular with the people because of that. And so people that were hardliners with the government stayed with him. On the other hand, once that war was over and things started to change and the Ayatollahs came back into place and the governments was switching back and forth from the different factions, he became more and more militant towards the people of Iraq and more of a iron fist, and he uh, he began to lose favor with a great portion of the country, and a lot of the people that have moved to Western countries from Iran uh, from the late 1980s until now, a good portion of them, just like people that moved from Pakistan and all these other countries, came here and became friendly and began to assimilate because of what they went through over there. So what you have going on in Toronto right now is you have a large group of people who are paid by whoever they're paid for, or and they are a supporter of the Iran regime, and they're the ones holding up the Hezbollah flag, and they're the ones with the "Oh boo hoo" posters and everything else. The other side of it is people from Iran, Iraq, Syria, and these other countries that don't want this. They want to be Canadian. They want to keep their culture. They want to keep their religion, but they don't want to hurt us, and they don't want to be hurt because they've been through it. And it's just like Susanna's been saying, and these other people that have come from these communist countries. And I'm not going to put Ronan on the hot seat here, but him and I have been to these countries. We've seen this shit, okay? And we know that um, there's a lot of people on both sides of this. So the biggest thing, like we've been talking about the last few minutes, I think what we need to do now is make a list of contingency plan stuff and work on it and kind of concentrate on it.
What type are you thinking of?
Well, I think that it would be a good idea if we came up with again some point form kind of things that we'd like to see in a constitution. Also, I think that it'd be a good idea to come up with some point form things for some foreign affairs. So yeah, if people want to move to Alberta from these countries, we have to have some kind of a wording, um, so that we don't take away from them on a human basis, but we we don't allow this rhetoric to taint the new Alberta. I think we have to be very, very strong when we move forward with the new Alberta that we are caring and loving people, and Albertans can prove that over and over again. But
Well,
also have to kind of hold a hard line on, hey, if you're going to move here, here's the rules.
If you
Like,
want to do it right, I think
if I'm wrong,
I'd
like, you know.
I'd
okay.
suggest probably doing what the Japanese do with their immigration system, with when it comes to foreigners living in their countries.
Yeah, they can't own anything. They can't hold political
No,
office.
can't do that. Yeah.
No,
Well, I
I
don't know
agree.
why we have.
I agree with all of that. However, going forward, once we become the new country, I think we should put a stay of immigration until we're at
Mhm.
least 5 years old,
Yep, 100%.
until
We
we
don't
get
have to
our
worry
legs
about
under
our.
us, and then
Yeah.
we can figure out all the immigration pitfalls and go from
Well,
there.
yeah, you got to look after your backyard before your front yard.
Mhm.
Roger that.
Okay.
So, and like,
There's a fellow, Doug Force, that is working on a template for constitutional development. I don't know if anyone was aware of that or not.
we all pretty well everybody in here knows Mr. Doug Force.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you bet.
Yeah.
Just held a video conference just yesterday, and he was talking about that they're drafting something that's going to start like at the grassroots level.
Okay, when you say grassroots, can you clarify that a bit?
Well, I can step in on that. They're having a constitutional convention on the 12th in Edmonton, so the day after the Wexit rally, on at CJ's Diner from 6 to 9 p.m. Now, I will say though, that definitely at this stage, what I'm pretty certain of is that we're not actually like getting into the nitty gritty of getting the Constitution drawn up, but rather it's educating people on the Myths Canada, which includes, of course, a lot of constitutional stuff. But
Yeah.
From what I took of that conversation yesterday, he was describing it as a template package that could be taken to local communities, because we've got such a vast territory area to cover in the provinces that everyone can put their ideas down in town hall meetings, individual meetings, and then from that point they take that information to another meeting and then ratify it from that point. And it's basically a starting point. Everyone wants to know where to start. I think that's actually probably a pretty good idea.
Yeah,
Mhm.
what I understand from John and from Doug from talking last night is that the whole point of the meeting on Sunday is to begin a series of constitutional conventions so that this can move along and have building blocks all the way through, so that we everybody has a voice and everybody has a chance to see progress all the way through. So I think the first one here coming up on Sunday is it's more than a meet and greet, but yeah, it's not a diehard written in stone. This is what we're going to do. It's where do we go from here, and how do we do it, and what's your name and what's your phone number. I think that's the most important thing for this weekend is starting those building blocks, just like we're doing tonight on this.
Right.
100%. Ammo, I'm just gonna step in and say too, there's a constitutional convention happening in Saskatchewan as well. In Weyburn. Brenda is hosting it, or well, no, sorry, I think Lindsay is, sorry, as well as Brenda. think they both are. And yeah, so I don't actually have the contacts for those two, but what I would do, Ammo, is if you want, just shoot Cody a message to maybe get in contact with them.
Okay, sounds good.
I think
Yeah.
there's one happening in Kamloops coming up this month as well. I think BC is on this as well. I think each province, I think all of the people who are us in each province is working on this. So I see it building all across.
Well, you guys had a good point about working on the Constitution. I sent a template of Alberta Advantage Party's Constitution that we could use to formulate our own Constitution because it's already all written up. Just like when I started my fitting company, I took somebody else's safety manual and just changed the fucking name on it. But we need to
that's
ratify
kind
it,
of
fix it.
I mean,
that's kind
we
of what I was looking at. The one of the freest constitutions in the world is the U.S.'s platform. So
Mhm.
I was kind of thinking, take a good look at that. I mean, just take a really good look at it and kind of take away from it what we could use to apply to our kind of personality, and then build on that from there, right?
I will say too that the Business Canada guys are already looking at the U.S. Constitution. It's like a lot, not all of them, but a lot of them, as like an overall kind of even a template you could say that you kind of like again change and maybe add in some stuff from say the AAP constitution or whoever's constitution, and they know people too who've spent years and years writing constitutions. Like
Yeah.
I met this other gentleman the other day at this Calgary meeting at the Rose and Crown. Awesome meeting. And this gentleman, he's an older fellow, and lives in Calgary. He's been at this for years and years and years. And he's just been observing, and he's been awake for like a long time to what's been happening. And he hasn't really like got out there and said like done a ton until now. I think anyway. I don't know. I can't say that for sure, obviously. But the thing is like he's been working in the background on this constitution for like ever, and put a lot of thought and work into it. So I'm very interested to see what they think of his.
That's promising. That offers a lot of hope because I was just watching a video with Mark Friesen and Adam Daniel Menze, and they were just on here talking tonight. And that's one of the things that a lot of people like Mark Friesen, for example, is afraid of Wexit and that it doesn't have a plan. Like a lot of other people, they're expecting something to be silver wrapped and perfected and handed to them so they can say, yes, I want to separate. So, but more of these people, like this fellow that you're talking about, will hopefully come to the surface that we can pool our resources on and put a plan together. So that's a good move.
Well, has anybody heard of Perry Kincaid?
No.
I know the name.
He has his own foundation. He's a speaker. He researches like new upcoming technologies and how they help Canada and how Canada loses out on certain ones, and he's always doing public speaking. He's going to be doing our next town hall next week.
Okay.
Is he?
So yeah, so we're getting a lot of bigger names that are coming out of the woodworks that like have done a lot already that are sick and tired of it. And I'm just glad that this server and these meetings have brought a lot more people together than I ever would have thought.
It's only going to grow.
Well, and I'm hoping so. I really hope so.
Oh yeah, like last night's meeting was absolutely so productive. It's really too bad you couldn't be there for it, Ghost. I mean, the conversation was just like these conversations we're having now, but again, there was so much headway. I mean, just about everybody put their phone number and their email address down. I mean, we're making contacts. We're talking. People are coming up to the rally on the 11th and the Constitutional Convention 12th. And just so you know, there, Death Hunter, there's a couple coming up from Calgary. So if you do need a ride, if your friend doesn't completely hook up, then that can happen. The other thing is, I sent a shit ton of messages today to people in Edmonton to find out if we can get rooms in people's houses to save people on hotel rooms, etc. Not just that. It's not just saving the money on the hotel rooms. It's building relationships and building a network so that as we do these meetings, as we find needs to travel, that even if it's halfway between here and Grand Prairie, if there's somebody in Whitecourt that has a room you can stay in, that kind of stuff. And this is moving quickly, and these kinds of relationships are being built. So it's really, really positive. And again, I mean, we've all done our part, but we really do have to give kudos to Ghost for putting this together, and Death and all the people that built this, what we're talking on right now, because this alone, Unify the West, is really becoming the platform that people are looking to. All these different groups are coming to us because we are the organizers and the moderators, and we're giving everybody a chance. And I just can't put into words my much love and respect and thanks for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful for you being here and being a part of this as well, man. Like every single, and that goes out to every single person in this chat. I think every single one of you is great. I can't wait to get to know you all more. And you know what? Just a little quick shout out. Just on that is, hey, pop in open mics sometime, guys. Like, it doesn't have to be in a scheduled town hall. If you feel like having a chat, hop into open mic. I guarantee you, you'll get other people to hop in with you. I'll try to if I'm around. Like, yeah, seriously. And the other thing too, I'll go back to what Cage was saying before. With the ride, I actually do need a ride. I don't have a ride right now. That's what I'm saying. I was saying. And I need to know.
I'll send
Yeah,
you a.
yeah, for sure. We'll work it out after this, but yeah, I would need to figure everything out before I can commit to it, and because I have to also let my coworker know.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was doing that today.
Okay.
And the other thing that I'm doing on this, and this is exactly the wording that I gave everybody on the text messages today. So what I'm trying to do is that if it's a lady like Jamie, I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm just going to use your name. If it's a lady like Jamie that needs a room in Edmonton, I'm trying to hook her up with another lady that has a room. If it's a gent, then I'm trying to hook him up with a gent that has a room, so that we don't have any kind of barrier issues that way. And I'm trying to keep it friendly and upbeat and go with that. But we've only got a couple days to work with, so I'm doing my best.
Okay. No, that's awesome, guys. I want to touch a little bit on these train derailments we've been having all over the last fucking 4 or 5 weeks.
Higher than normal.
No, it's Southern
Well,
BC.
there was Southern BC with a hydrogen chloride train.
Yeah.
There's
There was
calcium chloride.
Or calcium chloride. 2 trains in Saskatchewan. 1 train in Manitoba. Like, it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's getting ridiculous. Yeah.
You think there's sabotage involved?
I'm worried.
No, I think they're legitimate accidents. I know it's a for that many to happen, so close together. But how many more need to happen? Is pipeline's the answer.
Well, and that's what I keep telling people. Like, anybody that keeps saying like, "Oh, but we ship all our stuff by rail," and I'm like, okay, every time we ship oil by rail and there's a fucking derailment, what happens? Kaboom.
Yeah.
When you heat oil in a rail car and it crashes, what the fuck do people think is gonna fucking happen?
Yeah, people don't understand when those things are going down the tracks. The friction alone warms that oil up. It warms any chemical, any liquid chemical that's in those contained cars. The vibration from those tracks is
enough to set it off.
Yeah, but they're heated. They're heated. crude oil
They're
tanks.
already preheated?
Mhm.
Yeah, because when you're sending raw bitumen,
Yeah.
it at like, what is it, like -10 will turn
It's
almost
solid.
into like a hard solid.
Yeah.
It's like molasses at like +30 in the summertime. So
That's why
you can,
SAGDs run steam to
yeah, you have to liquefy it with heat, aka steam, a boiler unit, a heating coil, a fire tube, and pretty well essentially they have heating coils in each one of those big crude tanks. And you can see stickers right on the side at a crossing next time when some go by. It'll say like ignition source, open heat source, like all this crazy labeling that's like warning you, like, yes, there's a heating coil in this bitch and it's fucking hot. Like, it blows my mind. But yet we have Canapucks. We have Canapucks that get rid of all of our recycled plastics, completely obliterates them off the whole entire fucking out of the province, ships our oil by rail in a safe manner where there's no explosions, and one of my buddies' brother is working on with Canapucks right now. They've been doing tests in the shop that weren't on the scheduled tests when they designed it. They're literally building potato guns and taking a Canapuck and throwing it in a potato gun and shooting it across the shop and seeing if it will blow up on impact against a big, huge concrete wall. And not
It will
one
not.
yet has blown up. It will. They don't spill.
No.
Like, you have to puncture them with a freaking like
The
a
the
spike
other
and a hammer.
the other option there too, I would think, is transfer point A to point B, solid. Put it in
Well,
liquid, leave it solid in the unit, not heat it along the way. Once it gets to its destination, its or its delivery, they heat it there in a controlled environment,
well,
not while it's in transit.
well, exactly. Like, people think it's like, hey, you have a big steel bullet, you're heating stuff to keep it warm and liquid. So why don't you pump nitrogen through that bitch and freeze it?
Exactly.
So
Transport
that
it solid.
yeah, if you froze it cock stiff to like -70, when that train topples over, it's gonna take days upon days for that shit to start melting.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Where they
And
can have teams
if
in there cleaning that up before it even comes out.
Well, it won't even bust the tank.
No,
yeah, and if it was
because it'll strengthen that shell actually.
Yeah, it'll be one big huge solid mass, and you ain't gonna dent that tank.
No.
You might knock the rails off the bottom of it when it derails, but that thing's gonna be just a big sliding bullet full of ice. And the
Icy
same
bitumen,
concept.
yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
get to the other end, and you flip the system. You start
Yep.
pushing hot methanol or hot glycol through the system and warm the oil up, and away you
turn
go.
on the tap. Yeah.
Yeah, and turn on the tap and start flooding it. But our Mr. Premier Kenny has already put inroads into stopping those two technologies that people have been working on. Canapuck's at a permitting and licensing issue right now with the Alberta government.
Well, Kenny is he's been dark for the past little while, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, oh yeah, he has been staying out of the limelight.
Yeah. Well, because
Actually, I
he's
disagree
like a
with that.
gopher and whack-a-mole.
I disagree with that just because he had a press conference today with Christopher Freeland. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah, fuck.
With Freeland, what the fuck
Yeah.
could have happened there?
She did. He did, yeah. While she's trying to, make inroads with Alberta, quote unquote.
How did that
And
go?
apparently, she's also going to be going to where is it? Is it like where was that kettle?
Going to Peace River, she's going to pretend that she's going home.
She's going to my town, my hometown. Her younger brother, adopted brother from Russia, is one of my good buddies that I went to school with and grew up with in peace. Adik Freeland.
Yeah.
When she was in Russia studying, like when you look up her resume,
Oh, yeah.
and she went and studied in Russia, she found Adik. Adik was living on the streets as an orphan. She brought Adik back, got him, like took him from Russia and brought to Canada, and they put him in school, and they, like the whole 9 yards. And then she continued on university and yada yada yada. Yeah, her dad's Don Freeland, the lawyer in Peace River.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
Well,
used to.
she's
I
that chick's
smoked
still
so
a
much
fucking
weed with a
train wreck.
deek, and fucking that family's a train wreck, dude.
Yeah.
They're the only family in Peace River that own a boudet,
A what?
Yeah.
one of those ass washing machines that you get in
Yeah.
like
Like in
super
Europe.
high end
A
hotels.
bidet.
Are you
Yeah, a
talking
bidet.
bidet.
about like sometimes they have
BIDET.
things like that in the hotels in Europe where it's
Yeah,
either a separate machine or it's part of the toilet.
Hey, they're quite nice actually.
yeah.
Hey, I'm just going to come in on something from earlier. I just received confirmation.
Hmm.
Uh, Canadian planes are being used for all exfiltration.
Hmm.
The U.S. Army is pulling out of Iraq, and they're using Canadian planes because nobody will shoot at them, basically. So, yeah, our people are being put in harm's way to
Exodus the states.
just the United States. There's
Uh,
Norwegian soldiers, there's German soldiers, there's a South African contingent, there is a Brazilian contingent, there is a what's the other one? Australian. So yeah, we are right now. Our Canadian Air Force personnel are being put in harm's way to exfiltrate everybody else out of Iraq. It's ongoing as we speak.
What is
well,
South Africa doing there?
let me just say,
It's a
if
it's
anyone thinks they're not going to shoot down a Canadian aircraft, they're sorely mistaken because that'll be the linchpin in what they're going after right now. I mean, if they're going to fire at U.S. troops on sovereign soil of another country, it makes you think that we're exempt.
Well, and it's
okay.
not like our
No,
prime minister is
but
going to
listen,
do anything.
but listen. Okay, now here's the thing. Remember, our fearless leader is bringing in as many of them as he can. So our right now we are being looked at as friendly to the other side,
Hmm.
and they're taking advantage of that. This is the same thing that happened in
Fucking Iranians don't
2004.
think that far ahead, man.
Who?
Iranians. So if you're saying that that's their motivation for not shooting our planes down, man, I gotta say that's uh, because from what I know, Iranians, they move on a kind of mob mentality. So whatever's happening at the moment, that's where they're going.
Yeah,
As far as them thinking about anything else beyond that at that point in time, no. They're thinking for the moment right now. As far as the immigration, they're not seeing us as friendly. They're seeing us as opportunity. I can probably
Yeah,
guarantee you that.
yeah.
yeah. But I'm just saying that, like, I think there's a a side of the street we're not seeing here. I think it's starting to come to fruition. I get your point, Ronan. I do. I'm just looking at this from a slightly different perspective on planning on the backside kind of thing.
Well, I
So
know, and that's just because how we think. But
yeah,
I can't say the same for Iranians in any conversation.
yeah, they always have been the 9 volt and the 6 volt system, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Anyways, that's I just got confirmation on that. So right now, as we speak, Canadian planes and Canadian personnel are being utilized to exfiltrate people from countries all over the world out of Iraq. That is actual fact.
Getting flashbacks to the first Iranian war, or not Iranian, the Iraqi war, under the bushes. The TV's doing the same thing, the same panic warnings and all that other stuff. Obviously, something's going on. I think this is just a big smoke screen for something else, personally.
Well, again, I commented with a friend today. How's that impeachment going? Ha ha ha.
Great.
Yeah, the impeachment was a distraction, and now this is something else. So, okay, so here's something we need to put into the Constitution then, and we've all talked about it, and we've seen all kinds of articles on it, but we've been talking about transparency. What about retribution for political misheval and all that? How do we handle that in the new Constitution? What do we want to put out there so that when another Trudeau comes into place, and for some reason, even in the no party system, they build power and they get a faction. How do we take care of that? What do we do? How do we word that? Because it's going to happen. We have to be ready for it. If we're going to stop corruption in its tracks, we have to have a set of brakes in place to do it with.
Reduce term limits, maybe as a starter.
Yeah, two-term limit. That's already established. There's a two-term limit in just about everybody's constitution.
Automatic jail time for anybody caught doing.
They do something that's treason, they need to pay for it. When they do something,
Automatic jail time.
yeah, jail time and treason. Okay.
That'd be
Definitely.
jail life.
But
Have
another
some-
option to go with here, and I don't know how many people are in favor of bringing the death penalty back, but I believe wholeheartedly, if you're going to be treasonous against your country, you should be.
Well, and you know what though? Here's the thing. Right now in Canada, the death penalty is a judgment for treason. That's why
it's not going to be enforced ever.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, right now it is, but that's why they're doing everything they can to get around this, because they know fucking well, even under their bullshit system, we could do that. So that's a problem. So jail time and treason for politicians, and then death penalty for treason.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to throw something at you guys, and this is an idea that a friend of mine presented to me over the last couple of years. We've discussed it several times. Okay, so in the new, we'll call it the legislature. Let's just House of Commons, whatever we're going to call the representatives. We'll call it the legislature because that's the word we know. So we have a new legislature in Alberta. It's the new country of Alberta. He suggested that, okay, so currently in Parliament and in each legislature in Canada, there is a seat in the middle between all the seats. You see the rows down the middle, and they have the sergeant at arms and all that. There is two people sitting there that represent the Constitution, and it is their job to represent the Constitution and to interpret. They don't do it. Okay, they are purposely told to shut the fuck up. Most of the time, it's just college students, anyways. But he suggested that we have two seats in the House, just like we have the seats occupied by voted in representatives, and they represent the Constitution and they have voting power. And they are constitutional scholars, and they cannot sway any way but what it says in the what do you does that sound like something that okay? And the other thing before a bill can be presented to the House, any bill at all, it has to pass through those two guys or people. It has to pass through them, and if it's
doesn't seem very
giving
doesn't
that
seem very democratic to me to pass through just two individuals rather than a panel.
Okay. So what? Well, that's why I'm asking, is because I think it's a good idea in principle. It's just how to make it work so it's fair. I think there should just be, like you said, like a panel, but they are present in the House. But they have clout. They can actually stand up and say, point of order, Mr. Speaker, this bill being presented is not constitutionally sound.
Or it violates the Constitution.
Okay, but you just see, does that sound right, or am I going too far? Like,
here's my thinking process on it. So what you could do is instead, I think what most of this work gets done on these bills happens in committees. Okay,
Yeah.
so get a constitutional person on every single committee, and have them lead the committee, the chairman of the committee of the committee.
Okay,
And
so
I can tell you one thing though. Anything that has to do with the Constitution, anything voted on, any decisions made by, let's say, the in-house council, any office of the Privy Council, or any of that shit, nothing will be in camera again. It will be the right of the people to know what's going on behind those closed doors.
yeah, like nothing is secret.
Hell
No,
yeah,
all this
I like
shit
it.
that they're fucking hanging on to right now and claiming it's in camera, we can't talk about it. It left a lot of fucking Canadian people with their jaws open,
Yeah.
going, the audacity that my elected officials or the elected officials have the balls to say to me, I can't tell you what we're talking about.
Well,
It's not a military secret. These are political decisions that
Yeah.
affect this whole country.
Yeah. Yeah.
The backroom deals that are being done with the politicians under globalization. The people were apathetic. They didn't want to engage. They didn't want to get involved. They basically wanted someone to do all the driving for them. No one was paying attention. And then these opportunists, these collectivists walked in, and that's the stuff that's got to end.
And yes. And those people that you're talking about right there, those are the people that are willing to give up a little bit of security or give up a little bit of freedom for security.
Those who would trade a little security for free, or freedom for security, will have nor deserve either, right?
Those are the people that
I
are.
see it at local levels. There's even counties that are making it so that you're not allowed to audio or video record even at town hall meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that should end.
And
Those
you know,
are representatives
I
of the
totally
country
agree.
that
I'm
they
loving
work
this
for.
combo.
That's actually illegal in Alberta. All council meetings at all judicial levels are supposed to be public forums, and that
Tell that to Woodland.
They shut us down in Calgary. That's they shut us down hardcore here in Calgary. The council does not like.
That's an actual existing law in Alberta. I know that from days gone by with yellow stripes on my legs. There has been charges.
Yeah, well,
but people are so apathetic that these municipalities and stuff are now acting with impunity, right? It's people don't really care. They're not really paying attention anymore. And as long as it's like that, they're just doing what they want with impunity.
Okay. So here's what I have
One thing
written.
that you fellows should really do is look up, if you're not familiar with it, what the Delphi technique is and how they're using it. The Rosa Corey actually is a woman that came out with a book on called the Green Mask, I believe is what it's called, and it talks about this Delphi technique where they'll break down meetings. For example, here in Weyburn, they were talking about getting schools amalgamated into one, like centralizing everything, and everybody was opposed to it. So the next thing they did was they divided each section of the town into like divisions so that they couldn't come together on opinion, consensus, and then predetermine the outcome of the meeting. That's basically what the Delphi thing is. It's a predetermined outcome. So you really got to watch out for that going on at these meetings.
You're talking about Eddie?
I'm not familiar.
Okay.
It's also known as the estimated talk estimate.
Can you repeat
No,
that?
this is under, if you look it up, you can Google it. It's called the Delphi technique.
Okay, I got that written down.
Okay, so it's a structured communication technique, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's basically, like I said, it's for a predetermined outcome. They already have it set what their agenda is going to be and aim and steer that meeting to end up with an outcome that's going to be in their favor, regardless of what the opinion is of the majority.
Okay.
I think I know what you're talking about. It's been used in stock markets quite a bit for forecasting.
Okay.
It could be.
So, I'm just going to go through the list that I have written down through our conversation. And I'll just give you a point form so far. This is everything that we'd like to see somehow included in the Constitution. Okay, so no direct ownership. I just left that. We talked about Japan, etc. A stay of immigration for 5 years.
Yes.
No political office. Those 3 points all have to do with immigration. Okay, so then we have jail time and treason for politicians, death penalty for treason, constitutional representative on all councils. We have no council is secret so that the public knows what's going on at every turn. And we have consensus of community so that they can't break us up and split us up again. No, divide us.
Exactly.
Okay. Anybody want to add to that? Anybody want to?
I think that city councilors should be held more accountable, maybe to like community associations, even things
What do you
like
mean?
that.
Oh, so like riding office, give every riding office a what's the word I'm looking for? Fuck, my brain went to fart again. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like everybody has a chance to go into every riding office and say yes or no on a subject.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was brought up before. We talked about this in another town hall. Hang on, give me a second. Just give me a second. Let my head fucking catch up here.
Yeah.
What was the wording? It was okay, I'm just going to try and put it together and you guys figure it out from there. But it had to do with every riding office has a constant, ongoing voting process for new bills so that people can actually come in and look at the bill and say yes or no. And then there's a vote in every riding office that that representative has to take to the House of Representatives. Am I right there? Did I catch that right?
I think so.
Okay, we talked
Well,
about
a little bit. I mean, my opinion was rather than the writings. I guess the thing is you're establishing a lot more new bureaucracy is the only thing. But basically, I was just trying to think of ways we could get voices heard more at the community level.
Yeah.
Community
Okay.
associations. And
That's
have
exactly
community
what I wrote
associations
down.
bring
Okay.
things to the city councilors.
Okay. Voices written down at a community level. Is that okay? Can we put that in?
Yeah.
Okay, that's in there. I've got it.
I just feel like if we have community associations more involved in the political process, it might help people actually get heard more.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. We need that. I mean, again, if we're going to stop corruption, we need to stop it in the tracks. And by giving the people that absolute voice, that is the way to do it. Hey, Black Robe, I can't hear you. Like, I don't know if it's everybody else, but I honestly can't. When you speak, Black Robe, I can't hear you.
I think part of the problem is he was having an echo, and I just remuted him.
Okay.
I think it would be pertinent to have every single government employee under surveillance while they're conducting their duties to ensure that there is representation and honorable conduct adhered to, right? How else do you combat corruption? We have the technology in this day and age, and it seems like the cameras are turned on us and not on the people where it should be. You know, there's no accountability where it belongs, and there's all accountability where it doesn't belong.
It's a slippery slope. Once we start doing it for one, where's it going to go from there?
Well, I don't know.
and
Okay.
becoming a
Okay, let's go with that. Like you guys both made excellent points on the same subject, and I don't think it's too much to ask that people that are public servants, and remember they took that term away from us under Harper, but people that are public
Right.
servants should have to answer for their job performance. Okay, so let's explore that. Let's um
well, another way we can do that. When I worked security in South Africa for the Ronin, uh, what they did with their security guys when they were assigned to a principal, what they did is every couple of weeks, whenever a new shift would come in, they would be put on a lie detector test. I'm not saying it has to be as frequent as this, but they were given a lie detector, a polygraph, before they actually engaged in their duties going for that shift. Um, and they were asked a targeted bunch of questions just to find out if they were still on the level and they were still with that company and still true to form.
yeah, just like Kraft did to us. Yeah, okay. Yep. Okay, so let's word that. Let's put that into wording so we can put it in the Constitution.
Okay, every 6 months there's a review public servant that undergoes a lie detector test to see if they're still doing their job without any discourse.
Okay, every 6 months is a review of all public servants.
What I don't understand though is you express concern that, if we do it at that level, then where's it going to end? But I mean, you take a look, and the public is already pretty well under a form of constant surveillance, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but I think what Ronan
um,
means is that we take that away from the public and let the public be free, but the people that are public servants have to answer.
yeah, oh
Well,
yeah, I agree. Like,
Well,
man,
and I think
I've actually experienced some pretty crazy stuff from people who hold public office that are
Exactly.
completely
That-
ignoring their duties and, ignoring
Yeah.
the rules that they're supposed to abide by.
Yeah, and
Well, and
if
I
you want to take that public office, then you sign off on saying you're given full knowledge of
Yep.
what you're getting into as a public
Yeah.
servant and what's
Oh, yeah.
required of you to uphold that position.
And when these reviews are handled, I think that the reviewers should be having full access to said public servants' work emails,
Everything.
especially if a counselor, a police officer, fucking whatever the fuck it is, even if he's a garbage man and he has a company fucking email address, you want his whole fucking background scrutinized, because the weirdest of people can fuck people over.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, and again, I'm not going to put anybody on the fucking heat score right now, but those of us that served and those of us that served in, something a little more specialized than the others, they did this to us all the time. It was constant. I mean,
Yeah.
so
Well, even like consultants in the oil patch.
yeah, exactly.
Consultants in the oil patch get scrutinized by the oil companies to a 10th degree. They go through your social media. They go through everything. You have to give them access to all your emails. If you're within a fucking consulting company or firm, like they go right through it because they don't want you making them look bad.
No, it's
So
the same level that we went through. You're
Yeah.
exactly right. That's exactly the same level of scrutiny. Remember the old spy days in the oil patch? Remember those?
yeah. Oh yeah, my
Yeah.
grandfather
Tight
used
hole.
to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so what I have written down.
So there's a good question here I want to address. This Joe Max says, so who would be monitoring the government? A shadow government? I would imagine it
No,
to
the
be
people.
something like you have, the people in each area. Like right now you have websites that are for each municipality in town, right? So
Exactly.
you have all of the offices and stuff and all of the positions where there's publicly accessible files where you can view and monitor. And maybe there will
Exactly.
be public scrutiny boards that in each area that, it will be their jobs to scrutinize the work. And whenever
Well-
there's complaints, there's public reviews and stuff put together where they will review that stuff, right, and look into it.
and
Yeah.
it will be posted for public review.
Yeah. You
Well, and
bet.
I think like you could have people appointed yearly as part of like you being a citizen. Say every year, certain people, kind of like jury duty, get told, "Okay, we're gonna pay you a fair wage, like $30 an hour, $40 an hour, don't matter, and you're gonna work 8 hours a day for this review board for a year, and then you're done."
Yeah.
A year isn't enough time to get corrupt. A year isn't enough time to get infiltrated by any like rich people or get biased. In that year, you're just gonna be focusing on doing your fucking job.
Okay. And you know what? This comes down to a point that was made in the chat. Kettle said, so on this topic, how do we do this where OPSEC is required? And he wrote required in a specific way. I understand it. And so this comes right down to it. Public scrutiny boards in each area with a 1 year turnover. Okay. So that, yes, and with that, what Kettle brought up is that we have to have a council of patriots that oversee this. But again, those people are going to rise to the top. Okay, and those of us who served in these little before know that. There's always at least 3 to 4 people, sometimes more, but that's what they do. They are absolutely patriotic and loyal, and you can't sway them one way or the other. And we need that too, right?
Yeah.
But again, we can't choose that right now. Those people have to come about. But that being said, yeah, that's something we have to look at. Okay.
Well, I believe who brought that up about having a mandated yearly.
Me.
That was the Ghost. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That is a good idea, Ghost, and I think that should be seriously looked at. That is a good idea because that keeps the level of corruption in check. I think, kind of the checkers checking the checkers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. So here's what I have written down for everybody to agree on. Here it goes. Every 6 months is a review of all public servants. They must go through a lie detector. Public scrutiny boards in each area with a 1 year term. Is that good enough wording for now, and we can build on it later, or do we need more in that?
No, that's about it.
Oh, that's cool. Well, and mandatory. If you were to make it mandatory, and it wasn't like mandatory, but you had to leave a job where you're making good wage, like a fair wage, like between $30 and $40 an hour.
Your job is secure, just like jury duty. Your
yeah,
employer,
exactly.
Okay.
Your employer can't fire you. Your employer cannot touch you, and you're not gonna leave your job to go do a job for like $18 an hour.
No. And here's the thing too, and I this came up in a different conversation completely, ironically, with somebody down east. But anyways, this was a very good point that came up, and what we do with these people in these jobs, and so again, the representatives that sit in the House of Representatives or legislature or whatever we're going to call it, those people make really good money for that 2 years or 5 years or whatever the term is. They don't get a pension for life, but while they're there, they are paid accordingly because they are taking care of people in Alberta. And remember, when we're not giving $4 billion to the federal government every year, add up not just the transfer payments, but you add up everything in every tax that we fucking pay. It's about $124 billion a year that goes to Ottawa.
Define pay them accordingly, though. Like, I think that it would be pertinent to formulate some kind of equation or formula to outline what that would be based on, current.
Steve,
current economic status.
Hang on, Steve. LTT had a really good point here in the text. He said, companies could split the wage with the government to ensure you get equal pay to what you got while you were working. So we could work this on a two-way street. Remember, the city of Baltimore used to be the before there was taxation in the United States, was the shining star because every person physically put money into the city. There was no taxation. They actually took care of the city as citizens and companies in the city. And what Steve is saying is a good point that we could do too, is that tax each company that these people work for, they can actually put something towards the wage so that that person still has a job to go back to, but they are in service of all of Alberta. Does that make sense? Does that sound good?
No, that's
Well,
right.
and that forces patriotism into people when they have to mandate to go and help their country. And
Yeah.
they're forced into a position where they're making actual crucial decisions that help families, hurt families, and make actual real change.
Well, I'd like to think
'Cause-
all of us are patriots when it comes down to it. I don't think anybody should have to be forced to be patriotic about their own country.
Well, no, but I think what the point that Ghost is making is that by doing these things, people will come back to being patriots. We don't have to force it. They'll see that it's just the right thing to do, and they'll see the benefits of it, and it will become it'll become in their heart.
Well, not even, because I know people right now that if you were to say, like, hey, Canada's going to war, there's a whole bunch of Canadian guys killed, we're going to World War III, you know how many people would jump away from it? You know how many people would run? I have so many friends that are just like, no, fuck that. I don't need to waste my time. I'm going to sit at home, play my video games, and wait for the fucking world to come crashing down. But forcing a mandate job on somebody where, you know what, if you don't complete this job, you could face jail terms. Like, mandated. Like, you do this job for a fucking year. There, you get your sick days, you get everything else like an employer, but you don't get fired, you don't quit. And if you do, you go spend some time in jail. Would
Yep, there'll
force
be
a
no
lot more
dodging.
people. No, exactly. No dodging your duties, no nothing. And it would force people to actually start giving a shit because they'd be put on the front lines.
I think I know where you're going with this, Ghost. And Cage, we had to deal with something like this in the military. It was called a duty officer.
That's right. Yep.
Everybody had to go through the rotation on garrison every so often.
Oh,
and it was their mandated obligation.
Yep. Yeah, everybody.
It's exactly that.
Yep.
And people did that job properly, didn't they?
Fucking right.
You had to.
Yeah.
You
Like,
caught fucking holy hell if you didn't.
We need to get away from, like, and I keep saying this all the time and I sound like a broken record. We need to stop giving people in last place trophies and getting that ideology set into people, because it ruins patriotism. It ruins having a moral compass.
Yep,
Yeah.
you bet.
Oh yeah, participation trophies are the worst.
They are.
It's contrary to free market principles and competition. Teaches your kids a lot of fundamentally wrong things.
Yeah, it teaches them to be lazy couch potatoes that want to play video games all the time.
And not go to war for their fucking country and their fellow man.
Well, exactly. And like, I went to do my first aid, and I said this in another town hall a while ago. The instructor was military. He was part of PPCLI, and he was in some fucking artillery battalion or something like that.
He wasn't PPCLI then.
I think he was PPCLI in the beginning.
2 battalion.
He could, no, he probably remustered into RDRCA.
Either way,
Yeah. Because he knows my uncle who was PPCLI, so. But he said that, like, right now, they went in the military from breaking people down and building them back up again to just trying to build them up from what they are right now. And they said that, like, right now our military is fucking shit.
Yeah,
because all the new recruits don't really give a shit.
No, because it's not like it used to be. It used to be if you fucked up in my day, you caught a fuck fucking boot to the side of the fucking head into the mud, and you stayed there until you fucking smarten up.
Yeah.
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 Or
And
if you
then,
did
Once
something
you
really
saw the
stupid.
error, then once you saw the error of your ways, you're allowed to stand again with the rest of your fucking platoon.
Didn't they
Yeah.
also back in the old days not allow you to do anything until you had fixed up whatever mess you created 100%?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're expected to atone. You're expected to correct that action, and you're probably mandated extra duties on top.
Mm-hmm. Well, shit, my one buddy Paul Hebert was with the tank guys, drove tanks and shit.
you know, Paul?
And
The
Paul
Zipper head.
Hebert?
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
Paul Hebert.
Yeah. Right on.
big Paul Hebert,
Yeah.
massive fucking burly bear looking dude.
Yeah.
That's like my
Isn't he working for Secure now?
no Paul. He's living up in Nampa.
Oh.
Yeah, and yeah, he's like, oh fuck, pretty well my mentor. He baptized me. He freaking like when his kid got abducted in fucking Sparwood, like I was there. Fucking, I went down there and visited him, and like he was my foreman at the first job I had when I was like 16 at an old hay plant. Yeah, he's fucking an amazing dude, and he spent time in military prison for fucking up. So like we need
Wait,
that
he got
ideology.
court-martialed?
No, he just went to military prison for a bit, I guess, to fucking because he fucked something up.
No,
I think
if you end up in Club Ed or the like, you've been court-martialed.
Oh, well, then I guess his ass got court-martialed.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty serious mark on your record.
Yeah. Anyways,
but like he fucked up. He went to fucking jail, and military jail is not like normal jail.
no,
You
sir,
guys
it
can
is
atone
not.
for that. It's fucking harsh. Like I've been to normal jail,
It's
and
pack
normal
drill,
jail's
23
fucked.
hours a day.
Yeah, and like it's fucking crazy. Like it's where I heard it's like worse than boot camp.
Oh, 10
Would
times.
not be
Yeah.
surprised.
Okay, so
Uh,
it's called Club Ed, and that building is the cleanest building in the world.
Oh,
That's
you
all.
bet it is.
It's the cleanest building in the world. You can take it from there. You've heard about
Yeah.
toothbrushes? You know? Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, and like we need that ideology back, where like if you fuck up, you're gonna face reprimand or recourse or anything, and you're either gonna fix it or you're gonna deal with what happens to not fixing it. And
Okay.
our society right now just it's easier to brush shit under the rug and not give people a reprimand than to actually do what's right.
Yep.
Okay,
It's
so
scary.
back to the point we made
Yeah.
earlier in the conversation, and we all agreed this would be a point to put in the Constitution, and it was jail time for treason for politicians. So I added and public service.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. There's a few guys that we haven't heard from in the chat. Is anybody else want to make a point or have anything
Well,
wanted to
yeah,
talk
like I'm sorry guys, this kind of wasn't even like a town hall. I'm like super fucking sick right now, and I had stuff planned out, but we kind of just wung it. On a
No,
side note,
I think you've done good.
Jamie from now on will be scheduling, planning, and working with the town halls fully from here on out. I just wanted to let everybody know. She'll be guiding them, kind of like Death has been doing. Death has got some important things he's got to be working on here within the server, so we're going to alleviate some stress off his shoulders because he's doing such a great job. We need his skills more broad. So Jamie's really good with this. This was Jamie's idea in the first place, I'm pretty sure, and it's been working really well. So I'm hoping next Tuesdays with Perry Kincaid will be an amazing town hall. It'll be scheduled. There'll be talking points.
You
There'll
have to
be.
talk to me about that. I have no idea what's.
I know it's coming. It's coming. I
Okay.
just talked to Perry on the way home today, but
Okay.
yeah. If anybody wants to hit the floor right now and interject anything, give her. It's open to
Oh,
whoever wants to
yeah.
talk.
Yeah, go ahead, Jamie. You go first.
No, I was just. Can you hear me all right? Am I like really
Mhm.
robotic?
No, give her.
I am.
Hey, sorry guys, I just got to interject here for 1 second. I gotta hit the head here because I gotta get up for work in the morning. So
Death, you
Yeah, man.
want to tell him about
Night,
the
Ronan.
poll
Okay,
yeah,
really quick?
What's
Thanks,
that, Jamie?
Ronan. Good shit, man.
Just the poll. 1 second.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a poll for the town hall.
What? No, we already do. We already do.
Or
If you go to
oh,
the
more
poll
people.
channel,
Yeah, it was reset a while ago. So you have to, if you did it before, you can go do it again.
I was enthusiastic. If you would like to lead a discussion for the town hall or partner up with anybody, go to the poll channel and you can vote up to 5 topics. And I'll
nice.
most likely message you in the future.
Nice. No, that's awesome. Way to go, Jamie.
perfect.
So I guess I'll talk about I mean, facilitate the discussion as to what we have going here.
You sound like you're miles away, bro. Sorry, I'm not trying to interrupt you.
Oh,
Just
okay.
barely hear you.
Is that better? Is that better?
A little bit,
Hello?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're pretty muffled, though. Like you're
Okay.
talking through a pillow.
Yeah, I don't know what the problem is.
Try jumping out and back in. That works sometimes. No.
Oh my god.
You
Oh,
can
there you go. Now,
you can individually set people's volume settings. If you click on their name, you can actually turn their
yeah.
individual mic up and down too.
Well, I just turned mine up to 100, so is that better?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Well, maybe it's
Okay.
just on my end. I don't know.
Death was just in my ear hole.
All right. I think I might turn it down a bit. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to figure out this mic thing. All right. So I'm just going to try to get us into discussion as to what some of the things we've been working on recently. And some of the ideas that we've had. I think we should,
Yeah, give her.
start. Yeah. So first off, I think I'll just start with the nonprofit that we were hoping to get set up here. Now I know that now I'll just say first off that discussions are ongoing, so nothing's set in stone yet. But there's been a lot of progress on a lot of fronts, and we've had a lot of great conversations. And I'll talk mostly about the vision that maybe a lot of us have for what this nonprofit could do. So basically, uh, we're hoping that it can fulfill all the things that some of these political parties can't, right? Like, first off, giving people a place to put their money that's not a political entity, but is still going to make a lot of change. So, a few things that we're hoping that this will achieve. Um, First off, mass marketing, getting the word out there, getting people on board. I think that's like number one. We have to be networking. We have to be getting more people. Um, Outside of that, of course, charity is probably one of the number one things for us here at Unify the West as well. Um, I mean, I'll say personally, I mean, I'm doing this for people that are struggling more than I am right now because there's a lot of people that are having it rough in Alberta right now. I was talking to a guy the other day. He has minus 800 in his bank account. he had a union job, no job right now. He's relying on the union to get him a job, and it's just not a good place to be. And there's a lot of people that are in a place like that, and they don't know what to do, and they're scared. And we not only have to try to help them, but we also have to try to affect change. And other ways we can do that, of course, is collaborating with all these other groups, collaborating even with the parties to an extent. And then, of course, sponsoring events such as constitutional conventions to get these things that we've been talking about today, these great ideas for what we could have in our constitution, to help restore our fundamental rights. I think no matter which way you slice it, whether you think we're going the political route, whatever, we need a constitution. I don't think anybody can argue that, to be honest. And I think that needs to be the focus too when it comes to marketing it, right? Just be like, hey, I don't care what you think. We need a constitution, so why don't you get involved? You know, like that's almost like how I put it, go about it. It depends on who you're talking to. That's the thing. You have to try to cater to your audience, right? But people that just want to be told like how it is, it's like, okay, well, here's how it is. Doesn't matter which way you slice it. Need a constitution, so let's get working on it. Why are we relying on the powers that be to deliver it for us, right? But the other thing too is, of course, events, rallies, maybe even at some point protests. But I mean, overall, we need to be spreading a more positive message, especially at the stage we're at now. Now is not the time for pitchforks. Now is the time to unite people and come together.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in terms of other things we've been working on, the petition is now actually like a physical document. You can print it out. It has been like looked at by a lawyer, and it's all good to go. Everett Henley, the MLA in Saskatchewan, Tony's been in contact with, and him and Scott Moe are aware of the petition, and they're interested to see how far it's going to go. So honestly, the petition and the plebiscite are going to make a statement more than anything, but I think it's going to go a long way in bringing people together, and that's again our goal. I think that it's a great way to bring people together, as well as also these constitutional conventions too that are happening in Saskatchewan as well. So which I mentioned earlier to Ammo. And yeah, so other things, I'll say like meetings. Just getting meetings set up in your own areas. So we're starting to organize things a little bit more. So from an organizational aspect, when it comes to organizing meetings and stuff in our own areas, we're dividing Alberta into zones. Cage and Jamie have done a great job looking at that, and we're gonna get it implemented soon, and try to get some zone captains. So what I'd like everybody to start thinking about, people that are in this town hall chat right now and that are listening to the stream, just think about, if you'd like to be a zone captain. Now, I'll tell you what that entails. So a zone captain basically is the person that is responsible for organizing. So that means that you're going to talk to venues. You're going to talk to people, right? I mean, it's fairly simple. You get everybody's number. I mean, I usually do a group text chat, right? And then just send a message to everybody. I'll give you a piece of advice right now. With text chats, you don't want people to reply to your group text chat. Otherwise, it gets fucking like really crazy. And yeah, so don't reply to the text chat. You probably want to put a message in there saying, don't reply to this. But give people all the details, and they can reply to you, but just personally, not the group chat. Anyhow, That's kind of what I did, and then I ended up getting like 30 people in one place, and we let the venue know, and they were they even knew what it was all about, and they were happy to have us, and they were happy for the business. So honestly, I'm looking at doing more stuff like that in my area, and I also want to try to structure it a little bit more, organize it a little bit more, so we can get the message out a little bit better. I do think that last time was great. We all got to know each other pretty well, but yeah, I think we can definitely expand on it. Maybe start going more in depth as to what we actually want to actions we want to take, rather than just because there's been a lot of talk, and the whole point of this new year, I think, is that people are starting to say, I'm ready to get out and do something. I'm tired of sitting on my ass. It's a new year. It's a new vision. Let's get out there. That's honestly like my number one thing. Is just get out there. What else? Yeah, I mean, we've been having some really productive talks with some really great people. Some of which aren't in the server. All over the place on different platforms. And with different groups, and a lot of people are hearing our message, and they like what we have to say about bringing everybody together. And that even includes people from Wexit. And I'm not afraid to say that I've talked to people in Wexit. I'm not going to say who, obviously, but there's a lot of things going on in Wexit that are just that people are like dumbfounded by,
Yeah.
frankly. And they are still with the vision of an independent Alberta, 100%. And they still are with even the idea of Wexit and the movement as a concept, but they aren't with the leader, the
Yeah.
current leader.
I'm getting the same thing. I'm getting the same exact thing. The people that I've talked to in Wexit they love what we're doing here and that we're bringing everyone together, because they're being told the opposite inside Wexit. So it's crumbling. Let it crumble. Like, those people are still separatists. They're still with us. They're still patriotic Albertans. They believe in the same things we do.
What is going on down there with Peter Downing? Because I'm not hearing any good news on that feed.
There's a lot.
Peter always tends to remain in the dark. I've tried to reach out to him before and gotten no response whatsoever, and I've heard that from many a person.
Well, see, here's the thing: is I've also heard from people in Wexit that communication is iffy with Peter. Like he'll talk to you sometimes, and then he'll promise you a lot of things, and he'll say, "Oh, I'll do this and that, and I'll talk to you on a consistent basis," right? And then all of a sudden, nothing, right? And yeah, basically, as soon as he has a problem with you, or as soon as you're going against his agenda, I mean, you're out. Just bottom line, right? And that's happened to a lot of people, a lot.
The best I've ever gone to contact with him is just get his phone number, but that's it. And who knows if that changes fast.
He's got 3 phones, so don't worry about it. Yeah, no, like I said, there's a lot of good people in Wexit, and there's the cream will rise to the top. Don't worry about it. Like, again, right now, what we are doing with Unify the West, what Ghost has started, and Death has, and the others have helped build, and the fact that we're bringing people together, all these other groups that are as committed as we are and as genuine as we are, the people in them are seeing that. So don't worry about the name of a group or what they're doing or how popular they are. Just remember that the cause is moving forward and the momentum is building.
Yeah, no, and I couldn't agree more. This movement, I think everybody has to remember that this movement is bigger than one person. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than Peter Downing. So
Well,
don't have
Peter
to.
Downey needs to realize that it's not all about him.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
biggest lesson.
okay. I mean, he's not going to realize that though. That's what I've realized. He's not going to realize that. So let's move forward.
Does anybody know anything about Eric Wall from
Yes,
Saskatchewan?
I know a lot about Eric Wall. Why?
Can't find anything on him other than that one interview that him and Peter put up on that
On
whatever
Red River
Bandit
podcast.
Radio or whatever. And
Red River podcast.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah. If you could explain a little, give me a little detail on what this guy's about.
Okay. Tell you what. In the name of transparency, I'll show you guys something. Just hold up.
Just us.
Just
He
hold
didn't
up.
like us.
Hold on tight to your dreams, folks.
I know. I'm just I have a message from him that I'm gonna copy and I'm gonna put in the Discord for you to read, and I'm gonna let you judge for yourself. It's straight from his mouth as to what his general attitude is towards how he wants to go about things.
Yep.
Well, that's like Peter. I'd like to give the guy a fair shake, but he's just not coming through.
I generally don't really have much trust with anyone who has a former RCMP background. That's just me.
That's
I'd like to
one
give
of
him a
the
fair
10
shake too.
commandments. That's one of the 10 commandments in the U.S. under their state
All right.
militias is trust no one with a paycheck.
I'll read this out so it's a little bit easier for you guys here. So Eric there is saying, we've been doing this for a while. We don't need to be concerned with pissing people off. Wexit is their only hope or option at this point. The position that people need to be in is searching for us, not us trying to get them. It's a different dynamic. Right now, this Discord, us, has the scale tilted in the opposite direction. And I think Eric has it completely backwards. Honestly. Completely and utterly backwards. I don't know how more wrong he could be. Just right there, I knew what kind of guy. No. After he said that, I knew exactly what kind of person we were dealing with. And I knew that this was not going to end well. I knew it in my gut.
Was recently contacted because I'm listed as a Wexit petition sign up, and I'm still writing it mainly to take advantage of the fact that I can make connections through that, right? But I was recently contacted by another fellow by the name of Trevor that works for that organization too. He was a little sketchy too, and I was asking him about going into detail on what their plans are in regards to the actual plebiscite or referendum question. And he did not want to go near that, similar to what this Eric was like too. It was like holy water to a vampire almost.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know, right? Yeah, and I what I'd like to see too is if while you're getting those Wexit signatures, you also get the one for the plebiscite on separation as well. That'd be cool. That's the thing is I do think diversifying like that is only gonna bring more people.
That's what I figure. I mean, these people are interested. They're coming, here to sign the petition, thinking that it's going to benefit them by bringing them a step closer to actually Western independence. That's the impression that they're under. They're not under the impression that they're creating another federal party for somebody to take, that seeks power in the existing system.
Yeah. And again, that's why I posted that over the Christmas holidays when I did the math. They were saying, oh, well, we've got the signatures for the federal. Really? It took you a month and a half to get signatures? And then here just in the new year for the provincial party. Really? it took you 2 months to get 7,800 signatures when you're getting, you're claiming you're getting hundreds and hundreds of signatures a day. Like, Death and I did the math on this. There's no way. Like, they're pulling wool over eyes. That's why this whole thing coming up this weekend, and that's why it's going to be so interesting when it all comes about.
I know there's a lot of different groups that are going to be following it and attending that meeting. Hopefully there's going to be some media there that's not going to be one-sided, and that's from the alternative side of media, not the mainstream stuff, of course. But we need to get consensus and a unity.
Well, again, what I've been seeing in the last few days, so what's been happening with, for instance, the CBC is that they've had a lot of cuts, and they're not public. They're not telling you how many people they're laying off. What they're doing is they're bringing in people that do multiple stories from multiple outlets. But the mistake they've made is that now that they've laid off a bunch of people that they controlled, they now have people they don't control. So even stories from last October and a year ago that the CBC's tried to hide, these people are putting these stories out. And so what you're seeing now is that they've kind of shot themselves in the foot. So there's going to be contradictory stories even in the mainstream media. So I think more and more as people turn to the alternative medias and the internet media and that, I think you're going to see the message get out even more now. And I think
that's been one thing that's bothered me since the whole beginning of this after the election. After seeing what they did to Maxime Bernier with the PPC party, it's the typical Chinese communist tactic to sweep the problem under the rug, keep it out of sight. I often wondered why they were actually handing off and giving airtime, like CBC, the mainstream media, to the Wexit and Western issue. Like, it just, something doesn't quite still feel right about that. I don't know if you guys felt that at all, or
here's the thing, Ammo. They want to create division. They want to create a little bit of hysteria. They want these different factions to build and then eat each other alive so that they can control us easier. So honestly, to be the unfortunate truth is we're a part of the plan.
Yeah. Remember the meeting we had there? I guess it was about a month ago. We had the video meeting with John and Dallas and Cody and Death, and there was a bunch of us in there. And remember, we were talking about this, that there's no freaking way that Wexit got 280,000 members in a 24-hour period, and then only grew by 2% over the next 2 months. No, none of those, like only a certain portion of those members are actual people.
They dropped from their peak too, by the way. They were at their peak was 272,000, and now they're at 268,000.
Yeah, and they it has to
they
be.
keep banning all their supporters, so that's what happens.
Well, that's how he's. That's basically what they said in the interview with Eric. But yeah, okay, go ahead, Cage. Sorry.
Yeah, so like again, like when Death and I did the math over the Christmas holidays, there's just no way this works. If they had 200, let's call it 250, let's use a round number. If they had that many actual people in there, they would have signatures on the first night for everything they need physically at the first meeting. And when we went to that meeting, there was pages and pages and pages of petitions spread out over tables, and people were standing at each one in line to sign. So just alone at the Calgary meeting, they should have had 1/3 of the signatures required. Okay, so again, the whole at Wexit, Peter Downing, Eric, and that you're right, it does not add up. It does not feel right. And I don't care, because the good people that actually are in there, good people that are in the AIP and the APP and the AAP and the People's Party of Canada, everybody that is doing what we are doing and working towards this, we are coming together, and they are looking at Unify the West as that place to do it. So we're doing the right thing. I'm not saying we're the tip of the spear, but I'm saying that we sure are the magnet.
So there's
No,
been
that's
some good debate going on here in the chat. I'm really sorry to detract from the Wexa conversation, but I myself feel this is a very important topic, and I think it's important also for the listeners to hear it verbalized. Earlier when you were talking about treason and the death penalty, I myself am not a proponent of murder, you know, and I think that would have to be defined. I see a lot of really good discussion going on in here, and I'd hope that the people that are typing would actually vocalize some of their comments, because it's a really good discussion.
Yeah, I've been watching the typing too. Yeah.
Yeah, myself, I don't condone murder, you know. I think that killing in the name of defense of innocence, you know, has its merits, and I see nothing wrong with that. But murder itself, you know, if someone was derelict in their duty or they padded their pockets or something like that, that's treason, and I don't know if that necessarily justifies murder. You know what I mean?
I don't think the government should have the power to take the life, is the thing.
Right.
I don't think that should be part of the judicial system, that they have the ability.
One thing that everybody in this chat, needs to remember: one person's patriot is another person's traitor. Chew on that before you want the death sentence for traitors, because if we lose, we're not patriots anymore.
Here, here.
Just saying.
I know.
Yeah, that's some really touchy ground, and I think that brings some really important questions into light. You know, that isn't something that any one of us has the ability to do or the right to do, and how can we bestow upon somebody else or a group of people rights that we do not possess ourselves? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Ask Trudeau, he's good at doing that.
Rape, pedophilia.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I totally agree.
Yeah,
You know,
and your taxpayer dollars are funding this person's life too. They're
I see what you're
eating
saying.
your taxpayer funded food. They're in your taxpayer funded prison. I mean, I don't take a side on this issue, to be honest, because I really do see both sides. It's really I myself, I wouldn't be able to make that call. I don't know.
And my perspective is, if someone has committed a murder or raped someone, there shouldn't be a chance of parole ever. They shouldn't be able to get out to reoffend. There's no the whole purpose of the system should be to remove the threat from society, not to, you know, exact divine judgment on them, but to remove them. And you can make them work for their keep, but I don't think the government should have the ability to take their life.
Okay, sorry for playing devil's advocate here, but this is I found out about this after someone decided they came across this information and aired it in a game that I was playing. One of my guild mates ended up leaving the game because of it, or maybe he just made a new account. But this guy I used to play with is a pedophile. He had sex with a girl under the age of 14. She was 12 years old. He was 13. They were in the same class. The teachers, they were doing something under the bleachers, and the teacher found them. Her parents pressed charges against him for having sex with a child under the age of 14. This person is my age, so at this point in time, they never countersued her with the same thing. Even though she had sex with a child under the age of 14, she should be a pedophile too. But they didn't. This is back in the time when they only put the onus on the male. They don't put any onus on the female. So she's now currently in her mid to late 30s, living life, and he has to go knocking on every door, telling people what he's done. He can never live anywhere. He can't be happy because he decided to stick his dick in a child.
He was also a
Need to
child.
remind you, he was also a
That's
child.
like
He was
stupid.
also under the age.
It sounds like stupid kids doing stupid stuff. Doesn't sound criminal.
The government of Texas didn't see it this way. Yes, this is not Canadian. This was in Texas, but again, this is a hypothetical that can happen, because if it's happened once, it has probably happened more than once, and it will continue to happen, because nothing is really unique. History has a way of repeating itself.
That's a valid point that you bring up.
So does this person deserve the fact that his life has been ruined? Does this person deserve to be chemically castrated, killed, kept in prison until he rots, the death sentence? I mean, he's an angry middle-aged man now, but that's because of what society did and living with that all the time.
Another idea that was proposed is banishment, right? Removal of assets, and banishment. I mean, that's always an option for treason offenses anyway. Sorry, I know that doesn't directly relate to pedophilia.
Since we're in U.S. politics, what about your opinion on Hillary Clinton? What should be done with
with
that type of stuff?
She already had 8 years pulling Bill's strings.
I know, right? She was basically president for like a long time.
That's why they call it Billary.
Oh yeah, not to mention her influence with Obama. I wonder how many drone strikes she ordered herself.
Well, not to mention what she did in Waco. She was responsible for ordering Janet Reno to burn all those people in that building and use the special forces to shoot any survivors.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
What about the Ruby Ridge issue?
I'm not sure if she was connected to that one. It could very well be that she was. I mean, you got people like that. You got people like, what's that senator from Nevada that ordered the hit team, FBI hit team, to take out, literally ambush Lavoy Finicum during the Bundy standoff thing.
Didn't that have FBI involved there?
Yeah, that's kind of a mixed table of fish there, that one. So, okay, so what I did was I put a bunch of question marks beside the death penalty thing so that we can revisit it. Is there any other? It's getting to 10 o'clock now, so is there any points we want to explore for the?
Can I just put in one request? I don't know if you guys are familiar with the the channels on YouTube that have live chat under Rant Derek, RANTS, and then DEREK, and also The Raging Humanist. That's another fellow. Usually they team up together and have these video broadcasts.
Yeah, we actually talked about this
If
before. They plugged us and everything. Yeah, I'm gonna. I talked to Ghost about maybe reaching out to them and doing a live video or something.
If we could tie in with their chat or something like that, maybe possibly.
Yeah, I'm working on that.
Their following is increasing exponentially every week.
Yeah, I've been watching them as well.
Yeah, it's surprising enough. Derek is from Ontario, Toronto, and he drives into Toronto to work every day. Raging is in Nova Scotia. But they're on our side. They see there's a lot of people across Canada, and here's the other thing too. Like what YouTube is, when you look at the number of views, that's bullshit. Okay? It'll say that they have 2,000 views. They probably got like 15,000 views. Okay, I went through this when I had my YouTube channel before. So again, the shadow banning and all that is happening. The consensus across Canada, and here's the other thing too. Like Alberta right now is 4.3 million people. That's the number they're giving us. That's our population. Alberta separates the number of like-minded people across Canada that want to move here and be part of it. We could be 10 million people in a couple of years. So we have a lot of support across the country. Remember that Adam, I can't remember ADM is hit. Adam, I can't remember Menzie or something.
Menzie.
He's actually coming to Edmonton this weekend, and he has a massive following as well on YouTube. He's from he flips back and forth between Hamilton, Toronto for business and family. But he's got a massive following, and he's coming here because again he sees things the way we do. So there's a lot of people across Canada. There's two. I don't of them because they're in French, but there's two French YouTubers from Quebec. One is just outside Montreal, the other one's in northern Quebec. And it's the same thing. They see what we see, they see it how we see it. And the support is immense.
Can you guys hear me right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say all three of those guys I talk to on like a regular basis. So if you want me to reach out and try and set something up, I can do that.
Adam would definitely be a good guy. We already have Critical Thinker on here, do we not?
Yeah, he's doing what he can. Yeah.
He's a good guy too.
Yeah, like I talk to Rage and Rant probably every day. And Menzies I just started talking to today, but we're going to do a video together while he's here, so.
We should keep our pulse on that. Like if there's any other YouTubers out there that are kind of aiming towards what these guys have, ask them to, join in.
Well, again, guys, I started up the Voice of Alberta, and Steve and I did the first video yesterday. So I have a YouTube channel that's dedicated to what we're doing, and I'm right now I'm working on interviews with people. A lot of the names have been mentioned tonight, and what I'm doing, what my plan is with Voice of Alberta, it's going to be threefold. So there's going to be videos that are Voice of Alberta, and that is people that are from Alberta and they're pro-separation. There's going to be Voice of Canadian Albertans, and those are going to be people in Alberta that want to stay in Canada and why. There's going to be another one, which is, I call it Voice of the West, but it's basically the Voice of Canada. And that's people from anywhere else in Canada that have an opinion on this and how they believe it's going to affect them. And so I'm trying, again, I'm just getting started, but I'm going to build that channel. So that's something that is for this, but I didn't call it Unify the West because I felt that we could separate it, but work towards it. And then in the future, if we feel we need to unify the West, channel, we can build it. But I kind of think right now our position is being the kind of the place for everybody to come to.
It's a hub.
It's a hub,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So, but yes, I do have a channel that I started and I'm going to start doing things with. And it's called Voice of Alberta, and it's on YouTube, and I have a public group on Facebook, so you can join that too. And then as I can, I'm to add Voice of Alberta to BitChute and BitTube and that. So it is something we're building.
One thing I might actually talk about too, that wasn't covered, was that we're planning on structuring our staff a little bit more and giving all the staff members tailored roles and responsibilities. We're going to try to divvy up the work, as Ghost was saying earlier, and we're doing it in more of a we're doing it in a way that we can try to play to everybody's strengths. In terms of if you guys are interested in getting involved more in the staff, we would like to maybe hear from you. Obviously, there's a lot of people. We're not necessarily gonna bring a ton of people on board all at once, kind of deal, right? Like this is a process. Everybody on staff had to be here for a while, pretty much, except with the exception of some of the people who were here right away, to be fair, before we brought them on. But we do want to regardless of whether you're on staff or not, involve everybody in a lot of different stuff. And so of course, even if we have staff lead, like a staff member leading a certain thing, if you're interested and you kind of want to help out in that person's area, then work with them, right? So we'll try to build the team, and the staff member will lead the team, and then of course any of the other members will be part of it, right? And that's kind of what we want to do. So what I've been saying on a lot of these meetings is take a look at yourselves in the mirror, think back on your experiences, think of how you can draw from your experiences, and bring them to the table and contribute to this movement. What are you good at, right? Ask yourself that question, and when you have your answer, then you have your answer, and then hopefully we can have a team that's tailored to your strength. So that's the other thing too, is if you have a category of something that we should be focusing on, then I would encourage you to definitely put it out there. Yeah. That's pretty much what I have on that. I think we can probably also shut the stream down now and say the town hall is over. I know it was kind of a free discussion town hall today, which I think was good. At the outset, there's a lot of free discussion going on, and so and then there's a lot of current events that everybody was really engaged with, and so I figured it would be best to just not structure it and allow people to just talk, because oftentimes with these town halls there's not enough other people talking. So I was really glad that everybody today was really vocal, and everybody wanted to contribute and put their 2 cents in. I think it was an awesome town hall. I love the different approach that we took today. And yeah, I like the fact that we are changing it up, and we're not necessarily doing the same thing every time, because doing the same thing every time gets boring. It really does. And yeah, I mean, so that would be my feedback to you, Jamie, since you're organizing the town halls. You go about it however you want, but I think, yeah, we should try to have a bit of variety, and be a bit fluid about how we go about things. But yeah,
I have a plan.
yeah, I think, yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear that. So yeah, good. Yeah, that was a great one, everybody. We can shut down the stream and yeah, free discussion. We can keep talking. It's all good.